Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about Venus in conjunct Pluto in a natal chart. Now, first off, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in a natal chart. They were a little bit concise. Some people may have referred to them as snappy. So what I decided to do was make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is, well, if you have Venus in conjunct Pluto in a natal chart, well, an adjustment, which is the inconjunct, may be needed between what you love and enjoy, which is Venus, and making a major change or transformation, which is Pluto. One or the other may be overemphasized. There may be too much doing what you love and enjoy to the expense and exclusion of making that major change or transformation, which is Pluto. Or it could be the other way around. You may be so focused on constantly making major changes and transformations or what have you, to the point where you're oblivious to, doing the things you're really comfortable with and what you love and enjoy, which is Venus. So the ideal thing to do is to find the balance and equilibrium between the two. Now, let's say if you have Venus and Taurus as an example. The things you really love and enjoy may be tied in with gardening, cultivation, architecture, agriculture, art, music. It could be doing things even with banking. And if you have, say, Venus and Aquarius as another example, those things you really love and enjoy, maybe humanitarian, altruistic efforts, maybe something connected with astrology, astronomy, computers, electronics, innovation, meteorology, aviation as some examples. Even maybe building model rockets could be another thing. Now, another thing, too, is that you may either extremely value, which is Venus, transformation, again, which is Pluto, one moment, and then to the point where you're just, you're not valuing it at all, and, you're just putting, the value on making that major change or transformation on the back burner. And the thing is, again, the key is to find the balance and equilibrium to that. And it's good to value making a major change or transformation, but not to the point where it's dominating your existence to the exclusion of other things in your life. Now, if Pluto is in the 10th house as an example, that transformation and major change may be connected with one's business, a career, social status, stature in life. Pluto in the 11th house is another example. Maybe some major change or transformation connected with one's goals, aspirations. It could be groups, clubs, organizations, and maybe their friends. Now, another thing too is that if something in your life is completely, say, obliterated or destroyed, which is Pluto, at times it may have such an intense effect on your self-worth, to the point where, it may be hard to just, perform any actions, just in general, or it could be to the point where you don't have any, effect on, the self-worth. And the thing is, it could be, inconjuncts in astrology can be very extreme in their expression. It's important to keep in mind, if you have, this aspect of something ends in your life, not to let it, get to you at times to the point where, the self-worth, it's where something's ending that you didn't want to end, have such an impact on you. And because a lot of times endings can signify new beginnings. And let's say if Pluto is in the 5th house, it could be some kind of at the time, some kind of obliteration of a romantic connection. Maybe there's a connection with a child that ends, or it could be some creative endeavor, or a hobby, or sports, or whatever could be connected with the 5th house as an example. Now, another thing too about this aspect is that there may be an imbalance, which is the inconjunct, aspect between activities with your relationships, including important friends, and your intimate connections, which is Pluto. Now, you could be dominated by one or the other. It could be where you're emphasizing, activities, with the important friends, which is Venus, to the exclude to the point where you may be oblivious to your intimate connections, and there could be other times where you just have, where you're so dominated by the activities with the intimate connections that you put your important friends, which is Venus, on the back burner. So it's important, again, to find the equilibrium and balance between the two energies. Now, let's say, if Venus is in Pisces, as an example, those important friends, one or more may actually be a Pisces sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply embody the characteristics of the sign. It could be those that are altruistic, empathetic, compassionate, forgiving, sacrificing, idealistic, but at the same time may be gullible, deceptive, and duplicitous, and very passive as well. Another thing too is that you may vacillate between being extremely passionate, which is Pluto, in terms of your artistic endeavors, which is Venus, and other times you just may be supremely apathetic regarding those matters. So let's say, as an example, if you have Venus in Gemini, those artistic endeavors could be like cartoon or animated art. Venus in Pisces could be like the abstract fictional fantasy art. You have Venus in Capricorn, it may be very like conventional, orthodox kind of art, or art that is connected with politics. It could be political satire, or it could be something associated with the government, one way or the other. So another thing, and the thing is, you just again, it's important to find the balance and the harmony, the equilibrium with this energy, So it's also too another way Venus in conjunct Pluto may manifest in a natal chart is that you may either put too much emphasis on making money, generating income, which is Venus, and not enough on support, which is Pluto, which could be receiving and giving support, or it could be the other way around. You may wind up doing too much with support related issues and not enough focus on generating the income, which is Venus. So again, it's important to find that balance, that energy. It's important to realize that if you're generating money, how much are you going to be able to make in order to help yourself, and then understanding at times when you may actually need support, or a point where if you're giving too, you could be receiving too much support to the exclusion where you don't make that effort to make your own money. So it's important to find the balance with that energy. Now, let's say if Venus is in the zodiac sign Cancer, as an example, making money may be done through home-related business. It could be through cooking, culinary work, restaurant work, doing something with real estate, home renovation, remodeling, home caregiving, interior decoration, as some examples. Now, another way Venus in conjunct Pluto may be expressed in a natal chart is that could also be, a lot of emphasis on, loans, which is Pluto, for Venus-related matters, or at times you may just be completely oblivious to doing those things. Now, if you need, it could be where you're just putting so much emphasis on loans for Venus-related matters, where you don't maybe, where it's to the exclusion of many other things, or it could be where you're just avoiding the loans that may be needed for Venus-related matters, to the point where it could be to your detriment if you actually do need a loan. When I say Venus-related matters, that can include legal issues. It could be something for art or music. Um, it may be something, to provide maybe some, peace, in your life, whatever it may be, anything, or it could be for, somebody you're in, relationship with, as, an example. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Leonard saying, stay well.